You guys heard the line from the movie Hustle and Flow. It's hard out there for a pimp. Well, apparently, it's also hard out there for a gatekeeper. You got certain people out there hating on me because I decided to devote a large portion of my channel to gatekeeping Black American culture. So instead of debunking my information, there are certain individuals out there who are either making videos about me or commenting on my videos calling me racist, anti-Latino, anti-Caribbean, anti-white. When does an act of gatekeeping become tantamount to being divisive? There's a particular person out there on YouTube who has accused me of all of these things. They claim that I attempted to marginalize his particular ethnic group. That person seems to be so upset that I make videos fact checking this person. He recently went to YouTube to have him take down one of my videos that exposed his lies. This is what we're dealing with. But to his dismay, YouTube said, nah, it's fair use. So I'm sure this person's not happy about that. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. To all my subscribers and supporters, I truly appreciate all of you. Now, to my new listeners and viewers, let me give you an example of what I do on this channel. If I notice any individual from another ethnic group or race trying to take credit for a Black American achievement, I will make a video about it, challenging that content creator for appropriating Black American culture. Case in point, this particular content creator suggested that Latin music culture played an essential part in reshaping jazz as we know it. He gives a lot of credit to the collaboration between Dizzy Gillespie and Channel Pozo in the song Manteca, as this was supposed to be the milestone that reshaped jazz. In this clip that you're about to see, you'll see Dizzy Gillespie talking about how the song Manteca was conceived. Now, according to Dizzy, he never heard a jazz bass line other than the standard walking bass line until his collaboration with Channel Pozo. Now, according to Dizzy, Channel Pozo introduced a new way the bass could be played. Now, when I heard Dizzy say that, I knew that was wrong because his own bass player in his own orchestra was playing bass lines that didn't mirror the standard walking bass line, and this was in 1946. So I concluded that Dizzy was probably just being charitable and over-complimentary towards Pozo.
The channel came to me we were out in California, and he said, I got the ID, man. I said, yeah? He said, yeah. He said, barrel, bass. He said, he played boom, 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 boom. Now this is the first time in jazz that the bass player wasn't playing boom, 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 boom. This is the first time because I hadn't heard none of the bass, all the bass players talking about boom, 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 boom. So Charles said, the bass player first, power, boom, 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 boom. And he said, saxophone.
The performance you're about to watch from Dizzy Gillespie's orchestra is from a movie entitled Jiving in Bebop, 1946. That brother playing the bass right there, his name is Ray Brown. This is 1946 from that movie I referenced earlier. So this is way before Channel Pozo. Okay? Now, from all accounts, from my research, Ray Brown was influenced by a bass pioneer. His name is Jimmy Blanton. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I just want you to know that Jimmy Blanton came around 1939, 1940, and he was Duke Ellington's bass player. All right? So let's get the record straight. Let's get the history right. There were other people that preceded Channel Pozo that introduced a different form of jazz bass playing.
The most important innovator of jazz bass, his name was Jimmy Blanton. Jimmy Blanton is commonly referred to as the father of jazz bass playing. He's best known for his incredible horn-like soloing that liberated the bass from being solely a rhythm section instrument. He was equally adept at playing arco and pizzicato, and his technique and ideas rivaled even the best soloists of the time. To put it in perspective, a good bass solo pre-Blanton might sound something like this. Now, a Blanton solo, on the other hand, sounded like this. Overnight, Jimmy Blanton changed the approach to the instrument as a sideman and as a virtuoso soloist, very much in the same way that Jaco would do about 3 decades later. James Blanton was born on October 5th, 1918 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He played violin as a youngster but took up the double bass while attending college at Tennessee State University. After 2 years, he left school to play with the Jeter Pillars Orchestra in St. Louis, Missouri, which was kind of a training ground for him, as well as other great jazz musicians such as Harry Sweets Edison and drummers Joe Jones and Kenny Clark. It was during this time that he was discovered by Duke. In 1939, after playing a concert in St. Louis, Duke Ellington's band crossed the river over into nearby East St. Louis to jam with local musicians after hours. This was a common practice of the day. When they heard Jimmy Blanton play the bass in front of them, they called the hotel up and demanded that the hotel staff wake up Duke Ellington, put him in a car, and get him over to the club to hear this amazing 20-year-old prodigy. Duke got dressed, got out of bed in the middle of the night, heard this young phenom, and he hired him on the spot, traveling for a period of time with 2 bass players. Ellington heard what he called the future of music.
This is vintage Jimmy Blanton. Many people may not be aware that when Dizzy Gillespie recorded A Night in Tunisia in 1947, many people assumed that that was the first recording of that song, since the song was originally written by Dizzy Gillespie. However, this song was also recorded by Charlie Parker in 1946. So I found an interesting article that talks about the story behind A Night in Tunisia. So I'm going to read that excerpt from this particular article. It was published March 29, 2018. So this is what it says. A Night in Tunisia is a mythical song of the 40s jazz. It pictures the poetry of nights in the desert, but also the dream and freedom and identity of African Americans. A Night in Tunisia is one of the most famous jazz standards, composed in 1942 by Dizzy Gillespie. At the beginning, there was no mention of Tunisia in the song. It was named Interlude, and its lyrics were completely different. A few years later, now this is important, listen to this. A few years later, Charlie Parker and Miles Davis' version made the tune famous under its definitive name, A Night in Tunisia. So that's the backdrop of this particular song. So when you hear that bass line in the beginning, that was probably something that Charlie Parker and Miles Davis came up, not any Latino or Chano Pozo. All right, real talk, man. In what world would fact-checking false information be considered racist? The answer is nowhere. If I were truly racist or anti-Latino, where are all the clips and comments that would show that I was that? They don't exist. This is all made up. Certain people are just upset that I'm not allowing them to put up lies, and I'm not allowing them to go unchallenged. Now, I believe the only reason why some people call me racist or anti-Latino is due to the fact that I call people out for trying to rewrite American music culture. American music culture is deeply rooted in Black American music culture. No one in their right mind would ever dispute that. When you look at Black American culture, our music, dance, vernacular, it's clear, it's evident, undeniable. Anyone that denies that is just a pure hater. When you examine hip hop culture during the 70s, there's no reference to any other culture except Black American culture. No reference to Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, any other culture but Black American culture. No one, now here's the thing, no one is arguing that Latinos weren't there or didn't contribute to the evolution of hip hop. No one is arguing that. But if you are a content creator saying that nonsense about FBAs, saying that they're trying to lock you out of hip hop or erase you from hip hop, you are purposely misrepresenting our position, because that's not what we're doing. I'm of the opinion that this is done on purpose in order to stir the pot, poke the bear. We have been very clear on where we stand. Now, watch out for this tactic. Whenever someone who is non-Black or non-Black American start talking about or espousing the name of MLK, watch out. This is an attempt to disarm you and to shame you because you have a righteous conviction to protect the sanctity of Black American music culture. Many of you probably remember I had an issue with this British YouTuber who said jazz isn't Black American music. He too invoked MLK to try to shame me, saying that music doesn't belong to any one group. Now, I'm not against unity in general. However, in the context of Black American music culture, I am not with it. History has shown that Black people tend to lose when we do that. Look at jazz, rock and roll, now hip hop. There are a lot of people in the world who don't even know that Black people created country and rock and roll. And the reason for that is mainly integration. Now, integration is a good thing, but it's a double-edged sword. When Black people attempt to unify, there's a price to pay for that acceptance. That means you have to give up something. Usually, it's allowing other ethnic groups to claim aspects of your culture. We are no longer falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We are no longer going to unify if it means 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, non-Black Americans, so-called historians, are going to rewrite our Black American music history. The store is closed. Thumb up the video, like, share, peace.